Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to News of the Week. Once again, it's your personal and private nutritionist, Connor Rhodes, and I am joined once again in the building and live on the podcast by the great and powerful...
Oh my God.
Will Hukin.
Yeah, big energy.
Hello, sir.
Whoa.
Welcome back to the show.
How you doing, bro? You okay?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm well. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad to see you again.
You had a good week?
Really good, actually.
Oh.
Really good.
Pray tell.
I've actually got a number of things I wanted to talk to you about that are not news. It's just my news.
I'd love to hear.
Stuff I thought that, I could chat to the Hukes about this.
But you know what? He's here to listen.
Yeah. It was nice to see you in the gym this morning as well. I thought it was really funny because your introduction or greeting to me was Wagwan, my G, and then my reply to you was, yes, hello, I'm good, thank you, sir. How are you? And you said, chilling.
Thus displaying the full breadth of the English vocabulary.
Honestly,
I might say.
I thought it was funny. You were Wagwan, my G, and I said, yes, I'm okay, thank you, sir.
Well,
how are you?
Wagwan, my G.
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, chilling, bro.
I'm good. Nice to be back on the show.
As always.
Nice to be back on the show. Yeah, my week's been good though. Yesterday I went to York.
Oh, sweet. I like York.
You
What's
know,
going on there?
I do.
Were you buying things? That's a nice thing to do in York.
No, I went on a solo trip, you know. I went on my Billy Todd.
That's super sweet, man.
Yeah.
Headphones in kind of style. Listen to your podcast, like.
Well, there was two main reasons. One is that I wanted to visit the Jorvik Viking Museum.
That's cool.
And I just don't know anybody else that will put up with that except me. I just don't know anybody else that would even want to go or entertain that.
What's there? I feel like I could have been persuaded.
Really?
Maybe.
I didn't know
Depending
this.
on what's there.
Well, you do look kind of like a Viking.
Okay,
so
there's
it would
one
make
shop
sense.
in York that I love visiting called the York Armoury.
Okay. I've never been there, I
They
don't think.
just sell dirty weapons.
I know there's the York Army Museum or something. I don't know what the armoury is.
Yeah, so it's just an armoury.
Oh.
Yeah, that you can buy shit at. They've got like Rambo's knives and shit. It's cool. But go on.
To be honest, I love Vikings, and I would
That's what I'm saying, so-
I would only class it as okay. I will tell you why directly. There was only one sword
Oh.
and two axe heads.
Heads? No, that was it? No rest of the axe?
No, the rest of the axe. I mean, real ones from actual history.
Okay.
The wood never survives the wooden handle.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So it's an old wooden, it's an old
of
rusty
course.
sword.
Okay, this makes
A
sense.
super old rusty looking thing. And then two axe heads that were decent shape. But obviously the wood's not survived, so just two axe heads. And then there were some coins and bits and bobs, but I was like, one sword?
Yeah.
One sword?
Did you get to touch it?
What? No. Are you kidding? No, they don't let you touch any of these things. It's in a museum. It's behind a glass case. No one can touch it. No one can touch it ever. So it was okay. I love it though. I love Vikings, so I just wanted to...
Have you seen the show Vikings?
No. But I've argued with my father about it.
Of course you have.
Because he told me...
You don't want it to sully anything of the Vikings.
For me, I just personally don't watch TV series.
True.
I like them too much and I get too into them and then it just absorbs my life and I end up just wasting just hours of time. Just when I'm already just busy and I've got other priorities. So I try not to watch them. Mostly because I know I'll love it. Not because I don't
can't imagine you sitting down and watching something at all. It's like, I don't think I've ever known of you do that.
I do, but only in relationships, basically.
Yeah.
As like a relationship
You told me that before, yeah.
thing. Like if... Because it's nice to watch films,
Oh,
isn't
for
it?
sure.
Or,
Cute, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big film guy as is, though.
You are. That's true. And I also like films. I wouldn't say I watch too many. Probably a couple per year. But if you go on...
Films?
Yeah.
A couple a year?
Yeah.
Wow. That doesn't too many. How many is too many if a couple a year is like...
I might watch, I don't know, one every couple of months, you know, something like this.
You're funny.
Well, are you saying that's a lot or not a lot?
I watch a lot more movies than you, I think.
Okay. But I was going to say, but you know...
Wow, that's so funny. Maybe I have a problem.
No, I think a lot of people watch more movies than me.
Are you the status quo? Okay, maybe not then. Yeah.
I feel like I watch less movies than other people.
Okay.
Personally, I don't know for sure. But you know, if you went down the IMDb list of top 250 films ever, I've watched probably 200 of them. I've watched most of them, literally.
So
I've watched
quality over quantity.
Yeah,
every
I've
time.
watched most of the best films.
And is that how you filter it and then decide?
I don't know what's good and what's not good, and I don't like committing to something if I can't. I don't even at least have a recommendation. It's going to be good. Or you know, if you say to me, "Do you want to come watch a film with me?" I'll go because I like you and want you to have a good time. So whether I like it or not, we'll go. Fuck it. That's the same. I'm like it in relationships.
Yeah,
as well.
of course.
But if I'm donating my time to it, you know,
Yeah.
So yeah, I've watched most of the best films, and then probably a couple of films per year come out, and I think that looks good, and I'll watch it. But you repeat watch films that you've seen before, don't you?
Yeah.
And I mean, people do that, but I never really do that.
Well,
I'm kind of a one and done.
Because I kind of like to watch them, go away, and then research a lot about it and how it was made and stuff, and look into a lot of the whatever behind it, and then go back and watch it again with, I don't know what, the perspective, the know of how they did it and whatnot, and also I guess you can always, like, foreshadowing and stuff you can never pick up on the first time around because you don't know what's going to happen. But when you know the outcome, you can often pick up on a lot in the
You're
start.
exactly right.
You're like, excuse me, that was fucking what last time, and yeah. It's kind of cool. It's nice. you do get a different experience sometimes. And
you definitely do. One of my favourite, you just reminded me, one of my favourite films is Shutter Island. Have you seen this film?
Yeah.
Is it Leonardo DiCaprio?
Crazy film, yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
Mark
one of my...
Ruffalo, maybe? Yeah.
I don't know the other guy's name. I'm not entirely sure. The, like, New York looking guy. That's one of those films where the first time I watched it, I was like, what? And with the plot twist at the end, and you're like, what's going on? But when you watch it back again, you're like, and you can see clues and little pieces. And why did he do that? Oh, because it relates probably to this thing that happens at the end and stuff. So I understand, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The films I've probably watched the most on repeat would be Lord of the Rings.
Wow, really?
I really like Lord of the Rings.
I always struggled with them, a little bit.
It's fine. I don't like Star Wars, and some people love Star Wars.
I am down the middle of the road with Star Wars.
What do you think? It's
entirely?
Okay?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
What do you think to the new Star Wars films?
I think they're fine also.
You think they're fine?
I think they're no worse, and I think they're no better than fine.
You think
in my humbling opinion.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And that's that. That's what I have to say about that.
But I did, like you said, you like to research things. I did Lord of the Rings research. I know some stuff about the flipping
cool stuff.
Middle Earth.
You're the worst guy.
I've got a Tolkien encyclopedia down there, that furthest right book on that bottom bookshelf down there. That's a Tolkien encyclopedia.
Yeah, I don't know why I just never got behind that whole universe. No. Too many of the same kind of sounding names and looking peoples.
Yep.
That's like...
Yep. I see where you're going with this.
It just loses me a little bit too quickly, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You're a Marvel guy though, aren't you?
I am a Marvel
And
guy.
for me, I could never get into that. I never really liked superheroes, really.
I didn't necessarily like superheroes. I like, again, coming from like I like cinema point of view, Marvel's just arguably put together like the best display of like fucking cinema in the last 20 years or something. It's just fucking awesome.
I've heard this from other people than just you. I really have. I've heard this, but I've never really... I'd have to do a lot of commitment to watch all these films and figure out how they link together.
Yeah.
And then
it's
all
like,
the Avengers...
If you treated it like a series, like a 25-part series, it flows quite nicely. And it is,
my God.
And if you really just subscribe to the idea of, this is just going to take a while, get a Disney Plus, £6 a month, you've got them all except like 2 mint.
So who are some of the superheroes that are like top level in the Marvel universe then? Because I literally...
Top level?
Yeah, which are some of the most famous baddies. Or best ones?
Arguably the most powerful is called Scarlet Witch. She's super cool.
Is that a superhero?
Well, her name is Wanda Maximoff.
Okay. Does everybody know about this except me? Is this like a famous thing?
I guess
or is
so.
this like a niche thing?
Have you heard of the series WandaVision that's come out earlier this year?
I have.
That was around her. And her partner,
so a lot of people watch that. So people do know about
one of the other guys. Also super powerful.
I get it. Yes,
Thor's probably the strongest physically, I guess.
Thor. Okay.
Captain America's a cool guy. He's one of my favorites. I have his helmet at home.
I've seen this. Yes. You made me wear the helmet.
Iron Man started it all. I don't know.
Iron Man's one of my favorite superheroes.
They're all got their merits.
All the Avengers, is it then? Hulk?
Hulk's there.
Who else is an Avenger?
It's crazy times. Hawkeye's there.
That girl with the gun that seemingly has no powers.
Hawkeye.
The guy with the bow and arrow that doesn't do much.
Yeah, he's got some arrows and he's got some flips.
I love bow and arrows, but compared to like lasers...
He's got a slick haircut and he rocked up with a good attitude. That's about it.
That's his character experience.
Yeah.
That's nice. And if you do go on the list of IMDb top films, the Avengers films are on there, and I've not seen those.
Endgame is the highest grossing of all time now. So as decided by the people, it's the best. After Avatar, it took over Avatar, I think. Yeah.
I should hope so, because it's been a while since then. So he needs to pull something out of the bag.
Until James Cameron comes out with the next 4 in 1 year or something.
And what do you think to Avatar? I thought good.
Avatar's also awesome. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I've heard a new Avatar's coming out relatively soon. Is it?
4 are coming out.
What?
So
there's one and they've decided
I think we've got 2022, 23, 24 and like maybe 27 or something.
They love making money these days, don't they?
Man, they're like, hey, can we squeeze it? Can we get some more out?
They won't do anything without a mini-series these days.
Yeah. What can we spin off of this? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what the concept of these things are. I imagine it will be good. Yeah, I imagine
next year there's supposed to be a Lord of the Rings TV series coming out and I'm looking forward to
it. I'm into it. Like... Yeah,
I will watch that one.
I'm into expanding these things and that, this, that, and the other. Like Marvel branching off and doing these little side things that are still in the same cinematic universe, but are little TV shows. It's the first time,
like what?
So there's
like
been
that WandaVision.
That WandaVision, the one called Loki, and one called Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Yeah, those three this year, and that's the first time that they've ever like made the jump. Reference-wise, I guess, between like big screen and small screen, and like had it in completely just the same existing universe. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just cool. It's just cool to see like entertainment and cinema just kind of bleeding a little bit and becoming a little bit more consumer orientated. You know, it's just there. Everywhere.
All right then. Apart from Marvel, give me a couple of other styles of what a couple of your favorite films are, and I'll give you a couple of my favorite films.
Really? Okay. You know what? I'm a sucker for rom-coms and stuff as well.
Okay, like what?
Well, there's one called Before We Go that's it's directed by Chris Evans, who's one of my favourite beings of all time. Yeah.
Rom-coms, you're just trying to be as cute as possible.
I'm just trying to take you out, bro.
You're just trying to be as cute as possible.
Well, yeah, I'm a bit soppy, like, I don't know.
I like some rom-coms, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
Silver Linings Playbook is one that I like.
Sorry?
Silver Linings Playbook is one that I like.
Oh, I've seen that. Who's in that?
Jennifer Lawrence
I've seen that.
The guy. A gentleman whose name I forget.
Bradley Cooper.
Yes.
That's a super good film. Yeah, exactly. That's an awesome film. He
plays like a mental health kind of
guy. He's just a straight and narrow guy that just
a bit of a crazy
wants to get through his life. Like,
nice.
Yeah, it's exactly that kind of shit I like. I'm also into... I really like the 80s Hong Kong scene and all the stuff that came from that, like Jackie Chan stuff.
Really?
Jackie Chan stuff. Yeah, because...
I can't say I've seen any of these.
Well, because like that stuff is like wide angle. It's like wide angle. Yeah, like so Rush Hour is like wide angle kung fu stuff. So it's all in camera, awesome looking action. That's just because it's a legitimately talented people. As opposed to like if you take something like Taken, it's just Liam Neeson's elbow on screen, scuffling about for a second because he's an old man that can't fight. Taken. Bless him. Yeah. And then it pans out and he goes. And gets back in and does some other bullshit for a second that you can't see, and so it's just not cool. Whereas like a long one take of just an awesome fight is just the coolest thing.
So you're saying you appreciate the actual cinematography of things.
So I just like when things are made well, filmmaking. So the pre-vis, like the physicality, the acting, the camera movement and whatnot, the actual posts.
All right, so give me some examples of other good films then.
Oh my god,
a couple more rom-coms or some other films that you like. Throw them out there.
You know it's hard when you put people.
No, it's not. If you're supposed to like films, just stop that.
I'm not procrastinating. You know what? I actually have a list of movies on my phone that I've been meaning to watch. Let me call to this to see if I've... and this is just like... You know, got a list of movies that you sort of add to?
Stuff that I should watch soon.
I watched Troy not long ago with Brad Pitt. That has one of the best sword fights of all time in it, and it's so beautifully choreographed. It's just like butter. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Sword
it's so
fight
good.
Is like butter. Okay.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know. Let's see. Minority Report. I watched that not long ago. That's pretty cool with Tom Cruise.
Troy's quite good as well, to be fair.
Say again, sorry.
Troy's quite good as well.
Troy's an excellent film. Lost in Translation. I watched that not long ago.
I don't think I've seen
That's with Bill Murray.
No.
He's in Japan, I think.
Okay.
And it's just like one of the similar kind of rom-com-y bumbling around type story. Similar that The Darjeeling Limited is a funny film. That's like Owen Wilson and someone I don't know, and they're just trying to catch a train, and it's like an everything goes wrong kind of film. You know, these kind of things. They're good fun. Yeah. We've got like is this a new segment into the podcast we've created?
I just like talking to you about things, sir.
I like that it's branching out because I want... If I was to leave like the gym or something, I think I'd go into some kind of journalism for maybe like Marvel type stuff. I love that kind of stuff, you know. Like or try and do a podcast about it.
Go for it.
Deal. Who's your favourite superhero? I'm trying. This is
my favourite superhero. Iron Man. Maybe. When I tried to think of what superheroes are then, I do struggle. I quite like Spiderman sometimes.
I feel like you'd say I'm Iron Man because it's like machinery and buttons and logical.
I like Robert Downey Jr. a lot.
Yeah,
so if it wasn't him, I might not like it. It might just be him that I like and he just happens to have the suit. I really like him.
He's cool.
I remember
agree.
liking Iron Man 1, the film, quite a lot.
Awesome film. That's what started it all, man.
Yeah, I remember liking that quite a lot, being one of the superhero films that I enjoyed the most. And I would say that I don't really like Batman.
I also dislike
at all,
Batman.
but I really do like the Batman films, and I do agree that they're
That's
really
so
good.
funny, yeah.
The Batman the guy, I'm like, I don't really like the voice or the...
Which is strange because it's very similar to Iron Man in principle. It's just a rich guy with lots of tech.
That's true.
That's
I've not
also
thought
good at
of that.
fighting.
I just don't really like the voice and maybe the spandex and maybe
cool,
I don't know, the suit, and it's a bit like I just don't find it cool necessarily. But the films
The Nolan
are awesome.
ones pulled it off because the whole darkness to it like sold it and didn't make it cheesy, but it can just
Christian Bale's awesome.
Because otherwise it's just a guy in lycra, you're right, yeah.
They did make it cool later on. I used to like the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger when I was a kid, though, Mr.
The
Freeze.
Iceman, yeah,
Mr.
Freeze.
Yeah, and that
Freeze.
the Ivy woman, what's she called? Poison Ivy or something.
Yeah, Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I used to like that one.
And
I mean,
that's
that's
the
a ridiculous.
Penguin with Danny DeVito.
Yeah, I've not seen that one. I don't think that's a ridiculous film, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But I used to like it as when I was a kid.
Well, and that's one of the other fun things about like cinema is like people forget about stuff back from like the 80s and that, but there's just that kind of ridiculousness. Like if that came out now, it would be the worst film ever, and would be told to be. But you wouldn't watch it and think of it as the worst film ever. You'd watch it and think of it as an 80s film, or like Jingle All the Way, same kind of thing.
Sometimes you've got to put stuff in context.
And this is it. And they're entirely fun and brilliant films to watch, and that like even Friends now, if Friends came out now, I don't think it'd be a hit. I don't think sitcoms with any laugh track would be as much of a hit.
Do sitcom these days not have them?
Not as many,
Less.
and they're so much wittier and better because it isn't joke, wait for the punchline, and then crowd settles. Because like, how often do you actually laugh at those ones? Where if you watch something like, I don't know,
Friends is good. Friends is funny.
Friends is good. Friends is good, a good show, but it's not particularly laugh out loud funny. If you watch something like New Girl that's come out recently, that's super back and forward because there's no laugh track, and so it's so chemical between the characters because it's like zinging off each other.
Well, you'd hope things improve over years, don't they?
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. But it's not to say that you can't go back and sort of look at the old stuff and be like, that's so nice still in its context. Yeah, so it's nice that you can jump around and appreciate for different things. Eh?
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna Google something.
What are you googling?
When was electricity invented?
Bro, what little leap in logic did you take?
It's like the 1800s, sometimes in there.
I don't know.
Well, I've just Googled it, and this is true. It's
sorry,
saying it's like the 1800s, like late 17, early.
Oh, there isn't a
1800s.
date.
It's coming up with different things.
Okay.
I'm not looking into it deep enough to come up with an exact answer.
Okay.
I'm just trying to talk to you on the show.
Yeah.
But it's sometime around then. I was just thinking, well, it's only really been 200 years. You know, and if you go back to 1900, was the films then? There was basic film. 1920, did they have film or something?
Yeah.
That's only like 100 years.
No, a bit earlier, about the turn of the century. I think.
That's only 100 years
they
after they
definitely
invented electricity. They invented film, and it's only been 100 years since then to get to these mad stories that we're talking about. So, you know, like when you're talking about,
I don't know if film or something even might have come before electricity because you don't need electricity for film. I don't think.
What are you talking about? Is that true?
Maybe no, because it's just exposing chemicals to light, and that's why they did it with a. I don't think
with a what? Sorry, what's a?
So they had a cape that went over the camera because the film couldn't be like how you expose film nowadays in a dark room, essentially simulate a dark room outside that they would open to expose it to the light to damage the chemicals. And
yeah, you're pretty right, bro. You've got this nailed on here close. It says in the 1880s, they started. They invented celluloid film. I don't know what that is, but you also reminded me of those light boxes from even before that, where somebody would create a wooden box with a tiny pinhole in it, and then they would spin something.
Yeah.
Do you remember that's a film without electricity?
Yeah.
And then you could put pictures onto a wooden carousel, and then spin the carousel, and the light would come through the pinhole and shine onto the black wall, and it would play a backwards and upside down film. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Due to like lights, what is it, refraction?
Yes. Wow, science, God. Oh my God.
Or science.
Refraction's exactly right as well, I think. Oh my God. I think we did it.
I would say for my favourite films though, well, I'll say my two favourite directors are...
That's interesting.
I'm gonna go for who's the guy again that did Pulp Fiction?
Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino, yeah. blanked on the name then for a second. I like a lot of his films. I like Pulp Fiction. I liked Django. What are some others that he did? Hateful Eight I thought was okay.
Yeah. He also did Kill Bill. Well,
I thought Kill Bill 1 was okay. I don't know if I saw the second one.
You kind of have to. It's like one film.
Oh, I thought there was two separately.
Yeah, it's 2 parts. It is. It came out, I think, a year apart or something. But it is just.
I didn't see the second one.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, interesting.
I didn't see the second one.
They're good films. Then they are. And Quentin Tarantino is funny. It's like a cliche answer, but it is because it's fucking true. He is legitimately one of the best. I would agree. Yeah.
One of my other favourite directors is Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, also legit.
I really like a lot of Guy Ritchie films.
They're very.
I know that's again very stereotypical. That's like something.
Well, they're freaking metaphorical and wordy, and you can't understand one on the first watch, more or less any time. I find.
Did you see one of his latest films called The Gentleman?
Yeah, brilliant film. But again,
I loved it. I thought
it's just so. Hey, I'm the guy. It's so wordy and just back and forth that you just can't really follow the plot the first time around.
Oh, I'm looking at different
because they're just talking metaphors. You know what I mean?
It's got a lot of smart language, there's a lot of Cockney
brilliant.
rhyming, slang in there. The scenes are always cut backwards and forwards between different characters and times and stuff in his films.
Yeah.
I always find it exciting. I like how it pieces together. It's a very stereotypical, like, non-film person's answer to say. But a lot of Guy Ritchie films. I also listened to him himself on the Joe Rogan podcast as well and thought he was an amazing guy. Mm-hmm. I thought he was so intelligent. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at some other Quentin Tarantino films. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was very good. Inglourious Bastards is very good. Yeah. Reservoir Dogs is good. Yeah. These are all good. He barely misses.
Reservoir Dogs was his first film ever, and it was mad how he filmed that.
He barely misses, does he?
He for that one, he just went and rented a camera for the day on Fridays, and then couldn't return it because they shut, so he'd get it for the weekend. And then this was because he worked throughout the week. He'd go and shoot the movie Reservoir Dogs over the weekend, and I think he shot it like 4 times, scrapped it every time until he got it. Kept handing that camera back in on Monday and rehiring it for the weekend, and that's how he shot his first movie ever, which is just crazy. Which is why, like, case in point, like, you just don't need particularly much to make a good movie.
I suppose there's just different levels of things, isn't there? Like there was the Blair Witch Project. Do you remember that?
I don't do that kind of shit.
I also don't like horror movies or scary movies, but that's well known for being a very famous movie for filmed on like a very shoestring budget kind of thing.
I think that one might have got the record for one of the best profitable returns.
That's what I'm saying. And then on the other side of it, there's Avengers flipping Endgame, where it's like millions and millions of pounds of CGI and unbelievable production. Isn't it? But both can be good in different ways.
Yeah.
Both can be good in different ways. I'm looking at different Guy Ritchie films. Snatch is amazing. The Gentleman I really enjoyed. Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels is good.
Rock and Roller?
Rock and Roller. I've not seen Wrath of Man. That came out 2021. Sherlock Holmes, flipping good. King Arthur as well.
King Arthur's good. I like Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah, I do. I really like him.
He's cool, man, for some reason. I want to watch Sons of Anarchy.
Good. These are all good films.
Yeah.
These are all good films. I like him as a guy as well.
Who?
Guy Ritchie, actually, when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I listened to it, I really liked him.
Don't know much about him.
I thought it was really just, I don't know, he seemed really intelligent to me.
Who was the guy that the director that I listened to a podcast earlier on? Yeah, I liked. Yeah, sometimes it's weird when you see their personalities come forward a little bit. There's one director that really, who is it? Michael Bay, I think.
Okay.
He's super into fitness and he's super cool, and he like pops a gym up on every set that he ever does, like Transformers or something. He's like, it's important for the cast to stay in shape.
Oh, that's good.
So he like builds a gym and has them all, like makes them train every day and shit. It's super cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. It's good, I agree.
Segue to fitness.
I was just going to say that'd be a nice segue to start talking about some
of our usual
health and
content.
fitness style stuff. I've got some things that I want to talk to you about.
Hit me.
First one, you know the personal trainer Marcin Miservic.
I do know him.
Yes, shout out to
Marcin.
He asked me a question, and I thought, I don't actually really know the answer to this question. And then I thought, I'll just ask Will on the podcast and see what he thinks, because it's a super basic question.
Oh no!
I honestly couldn't really give a good answer.
You're gonna make me squirm and be exposed.
No, probably not. I don't know what you would say to this. I just think it'd be interesting to bring up. He's planning, or he's made, or made, like a workout and training instructional like ebook for his clients. So he's explaining different things about working out and different workouts and how it works with training and everything behind it. So and he sent me a text and then called me. and said, you know a cool down that comes after the workout? And I said, yes. And he said, if you were going to explain to someone what that's for, what would you really say?
Right.
And I thought, I mean, I know what the textbook answer is, but I have never done a cool down. And I don't think I've ever done an official 5 minutes on the static bike cool down with one of my clients ever. Have you?
I think that correctional answer is your answer, isn't it? That's it.
So I didn't know what, I thought, he asked me what the cool down's for, and I thought, I don't know. I honestly don't really know.
No.
It just says it in textbooks. It says that that's what we should do.
Yeah, it is just one
it?
of those. I mean, it also says that kids shouldn't train when they're young in textbooks still.
Hopefully it doesn't.
It's everything's wrong. Everything's stupid.
So what do you think the cool downs? This is what I want to talk to you about one thing.
No, it's not. No, I mean, yeah.
Is it real?
As defined by what? What is this? What is
That's
this?
what I
First
mean.
of all,
What is it and why are we doing
give
it?
me
Is
any
it real?
substance as to what this is.
No, I want you to give me the substance. Because I don't understand what's going on.
No, I think so. Usually, I guess the first place you'd hear of a cool down would be in PE or something at school, and you usually have a soft warm up for things. And I'll tell you what, I'll use my first example. I can remember being at the top of the school drive, about to go on the run for the PE lesson around the block around town, and they get us to do static stretching first for a couple of minutes, and then a couple star jumps or whatever, and then just set off slowly and then start going faster. Right?
Sounds fair.
However, the issue is there that on a cold morning, they've got kids in not warm things stretching cold muscles first and then doing a light warm up afterwards.
Yeah, you should rotate those around it.
They shouldn't do the stretching at all first. You shouldn't static stretch like that before. So if you just want to get things warm and elastic, you don't want to stretch past your natural range of motion to a position that you are compromised in because by not being there usually. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And same with training as well. So that concept is same there. You don't want to particularly statically stretch things before you train them, unless you're not training them. And what I mean by that is if you were training overhead press, you might stretch the compromising muscle would be the lat, but then you're not actually using that. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
You're mobilizing it to assist something else. That's fine and whatnot, but that's how you would start it. But then when you get to the end, they maybe so first of all, that's wrong, is what I was saying. Then when you get to the end and there's a cool down, what would they have you do? Kind of just again bring it down slowly and a few more stretches, like the static stretches. Yeah, that's a nice idea. That's where you would want to do them.
And I have done a few static stretches with my clients at the end of sessions, but I don't know if I'd class that as a cool down. I class it just as a bit more stretching.
Yeah,
we're not doing it because it specifically cools anything down.
No, exactly.
Don't know what that really means.
No, there isn't really any concept behind that at all.
And I've never really seen any other personal trainers that are top level doing really cool downs or recommending. I've never really seen athletes do much quote unquote cooling down.
I mean, it's
do you do easier exercises towards the end of the session? You usually do.
You do.
You know, you taper workouts down from the hardest, most dangerous stuff down to the easiest stuff.
So you do kind of taper to match your energy as it drops.
And safety levels and stuff. Exactly. Yeah, that's not for. Yeah. It's not. No. But
you never cool down for the sake of for it needing to be a cool down. Yeah, you might go and stretch, and then you're stretching for the sake of trying to get more flexible, not for the sake of you've done a workout. Do you know what I mean? Usually the second I've done my last set, I just pick my shit up and leave. Assuming I've done everything I want to do. You know what I mean?
The cool down would just be the last rest period, in my opinion.
Yeah, and this is all assuming. This is all assuming that your training is on point and that you are going through every range of motion perfectly for every exercise. You do mobility and things like this beforehand, and you address weak points. Like if you are legitimately tight somewhere, you are addressing that stuff. But again, is that a cool down? Yeah, that's just all stuff that you would need to do at some point, not necessarily after. There's nothing you need to do after, is there?
No, there's no all right, fine. So you also think cool downs is not a real thing?
Yeah, entirely not a real thing.
Yeah, good. And he said to me, what should I do about cool down then? Should I put it into the guide? I said, do you do cool down?
I say, fuck all, skip.
He said no, and I said, well then no, don't write things in the guide.
I said, go home, sit down, chill out, cool down.
All right. And then on the opposite side of things, I want to talk to you a bit about warming up, which obviously is a real thing. And if you know anything about me and my training, I like to warm up a lot.
Yeah, you do.
I do loads of warming up. I, despite everything you just said, stretch for at least half an hour.
I know you do.
Yeah. On the upper body and the legs. I do it basically every morning regardless. It doesn't matter whether I'm training or not really. I do a bit of upper body and a bit of leg stretching. Then usually I'll do a bit of specific warming up for the legs or the upper body depending on which one I'm training. Like if I'm doing upper body training, I'll usually do some shoulder warming up. Like I'll get some 2 kilogram dumbbells and I'll do front raises for 10 and side and then above and then a bit of rotator cuff, and I might do a few press ups on the floor and then I'll do a few rear delts. I'm just trying to move, and I'll do bicep curls and tricep extensions. I'm just trying to lightly move every upper body muscle to get blood flow into the area. If it's legs, I'll usually do bodyweight squats and bodyweight hip thrusts. Back to back, 2 or 3 rounds, just to literally get the legs moving. Then I'll start warming up on the actual specific exercise I'm starting on, which might be bench press or squat or hip thrust, and then I'll start with the bar and start incrementally warming up. And that all sounds normal. Lately though, I've been doing the stereotypical level 3 personal trainer thing of before that doing 5 minutes on the cross trainer.
Oh, full PT style, yeah.
Yeah, I've been giving myself, not my clients, just myself. I've been giving myself after the stretching, because I do it at home, upon immediate entry to the gym, either run to the gym, and I count that as the warm up if it's at the gym that I go to that's slightly further away than the one you work at. If I go to your gym or something, 5 minutes on the cross trainer, and I feel so much better. It's actually, I feel like it makes a big impact. Then when I get to the little, I don't class it as mobility warm-up, but my loosening up section of the warm-up where I do either all the shoulder bits or the squats and hip thrusts, I already feel way more warm and my blood's pumping and my heart rate and...
But you feel a lot stronger.
I feel just more ready, way more ready. And I feel more awake and ready for it. And then I obviously do the normal warm-up. And I just wanted to ask you then, why do you think that is? Why do you think I'm noticing a benefit from doing the cross trainer? Do you think it's in my mind? Do you think it's only psychological? Because Leon said that to me one time, you know, obviously Leon Manti, shout out. He said to me once that he thinks half of warming up is psychological. And I couldn't agree or disagree. I just thought about it and thought that's an interesting way of thinking about it. I wonder how much of warming up is psychological versus, I know injury risk and stuff's reduced, so it's obviously a real thing. But I wondered, is it just in my mind? Do you think that the cross trainer makes me feel better? Or do you think I also thought it might be because I'm older. As I'm getting older, am I requiring more warming up? Is it because I train harder now and better and more effectively that I require more warming up to get to the ready state to actually perform my exercises because I now perform them at a higher intensity and level? You know? What do you think? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that a big part of it is the mental side of things. And I think that when I tell people about warm-ups and general warm-ups, like jumping on a cross trainer, one of the biggest reasons I say to do it is to get your head in it and to feel like you're not lethargic.
More awake and I'm ready.
Because it's very hard to
Gets your blood pumping.
Yeah, exactly.
Gets your lungs going.
And it just gets you moving and not feeling like just a heavy sack of shit, you know?
Feeling like a heavy sack of shit.
Yeah, it's not what you're going for. That's
Sometimes I feel like a slug, I'm not going to lie.
Exactly, and if you go and you get on there and that'll kind of wake you up and get you into it. I definitely think that someone like yourself as well, like your like skeleton and whatnot has been battered over the years, not in an unhealthy way, but just in a way that it's had stress on it. And as well as that,
what do you mean, through exercise?
Yeah, through pressing and moving things and picking things up and things growing is inherently incurring damage and then growth as well. But you know, it's that whole process. So there's been damage across the years, as healthy as it all is now, and that just means as well that as you've created that damage and you've got your brain has understood your body better, you also know all your injuries. And you know how like 80% of people have a whatever tear in their shoulder but don't know about it, and they think that people at the gym injure themselves at the gym. No, you often discover your injuries at the gym because everyone's got them, and it's just that you test them to figure them out, and you've tested for so many years that you're so hyper aware of all these little things as well that it's probably nice to just get on that, get them all ironed out and get the blood flowing, like you say, because you'll be so much more aware of your body and what it feels like than someone new at the gym. So much aware. Like your brain is probably just all over your body. You can feel it in that, you know, whereas a lot of people wouldn't have that kind of mechanical feedback a lot of the time without years of training.
I understand. I feel like I've maybe underestimated the value of 5 minutes on a cross trainer particularly for people who are not used to exercise. Like for me, I'm doing it to wake my body and mind up a little bit and get my blood flowing before I go hardcore. But for somebody whose body and mind are never really, maybe they're never woken that up that well. You know, they're always feeling a little bit sluggish. They're always feeling a little bit tired. They're not used to exercise. They're not used to getting their body out of first gear, getting into third, fourth, or fifth.
Exactly.
So I think maybe I might have, not that I haven't done those kind of warm-ups with clients, because I have done, because usually I like to chat to people for 5 or 10 minutes at the beginning, and rather than just us stand there and talk about how life's been going and what we're going to do today, I can just get them to just move a little bit. So I do those warm-ups with clients, but now that I've felt the benefits for myself, I feel like that might be an area where I've slightly underestimated how advantageous that might be for somebody who's unfit, getting them, or unfitter, should we say, or not used to the exercise.
Yeah,
getting them on a
absolutely.
cross train of 5 minutes, get their head and body into it.
The way I would say it is that the end point is it spits me out in a much kind of more crystal clear, focused position to do my workout in, if I've done something like that. But I think how it gets there is kind of 50-50 psychological and physiological, maybe. Like it's
That's really
actual,
nice answer.
yeah, there's blood flowing, things are getting warm. For me, I would like extend that kind of theory of the general warm up. Like I always do some like back extensions on a foam roller. I'm always in the bottom of a squat. I've started doing Cossack squats now. I do very like power orientated squats. I try and do in my warm ups, where I like descend on the way down and then try and not jump but stand back up to the top as fast as I can.
Squeeze all the muscles.
And that just
it
appropriates you for the demand of the workout, which when you're trying to lift something heavy, you don't want to go in and have it feel like a ton of bricks on your back or something, because it's just miserable, in it. Like if you're walking something heavy out. And that's another thing as well, like say if you're Leon talking about the psychology of it, it's really interesting. Like I know on any given day, if I decide one way or another, I could walk out 130 kilos and have it on one day feel like 100 kilos and be like, and sometimes to the point of looking to the side to think, have I put enough weight on this?
Yeah.
Or on another day, walk in and make it feel like 160 kilos.
Oh, definitely.
Just because like, yeah, what I haven't, and my brain's not in it. And it's often just because you haven't taken that time to get
Sometimes it's what foods you've eaten, sometimes it's how you've slept, sometimes it might be underlying illnesses, sometimes it might be training fatigue, sometimes it might be other stressors. I can do 60 kg for 8 to 10 on a military press.
That's stupidly strong, and I hate you for that.
Today, I only did 40 for 10 and found it hard. That's 50. Is that how much? What? No, I was going to say that's 50% less. It's not. It's a third less, isn't it? I guess
75% less. I don't know. Yeah,
it's a third less. But that just to illustrate the point. Literally, I can usually do 60. Not bad. Good amount of reps. Today I was on 40. Like
yeah, and it ebbs and flows. And even on a bigger scale, strength isn't linear. It goes up and down as well. So yeah.
Yeah, for me, I've not been eating much, so I think it's down to the dieting.
That'll be a big thing.
That's
literal energy in it. It takes energy to move things. You're trying to move things in the gym. You're not putting much energy in you. You're going to get weaker.
I have gotten leaner, but I've also gotten stronger.
Power.
You know, since going
the
back
holy
to the
grail
gym,
of training.
Since going back to the gym after lockdown.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
I've also been eating so well you can't even believe.
Yeah, good man.
I'm actually going to stop dieting now because I feel if I get leaner than this, it may become unhealthy.
Good.
To be honest, honestly.
No, you're in the perfect position now. Because now you get to bulk up from being shredded to just nicely lean and see stupid strength gains as you do it and stay shredded for all of it.
I'm going to try and main gain. Maintain while gaining.
I know you don't really want to get any fatter again. You do well, you look good like this, I agree.
I don't know if it's 100% realistic to maintain this body fat forever, continuously.
Well,
but close to. Yeah. I could variation of a few percent slight body fat increase, like at Christmas and on holidays I'll gain a bit, and then when I come back I'll lose a bit.
Exactly how life should be done.
But it's getting to the point where my body fat levels are very low, and I would like to get it tested, to be honest, on a DEXA scan.
I'd be interested to see what you would be.
I would, and I hope it's higher than I think, because I do still have some fat, like particularly on my back here. I have some fat there, and I'm glad for it, because I don't have any on the legs at all, none on the arms, none on the chest, not really much.
No, super shredded.
Not really much on the abs anymore. There is slight, but it's not much. But I do have some back fat, and I think, oh my God, thank God. I need that for survival. I know body fat produces essential hormones for your body. Yeah. You actually need some, or it's unhealthy. It's an interesting
toss-up, because I think as well our priorities are slightly different, but I would say that it's good fun training in a surplus as well, just for enjoying training and whatnot. And my favourite time that I ever did that was when I cut had been just under 10% and then bulked into like 13%, which again is just shifting from shredded to lean. I'm still leaner than everyone else in the fucking gym, you know. And I just get to put on 10 kilos of weight in like
some good eating.
Yeah, bro, and obviously a bit of regain, water, whatever. But then after that, just like imagine the weights were feeling good, knee pain went away. Oh, it was great.
Right now, I feel good. I've been getting stronger. My energy levels are good. I sleep well. I can run. I'm not the strongest I've ever been, but I'm doing well.
Yeah, but you're one of the leanest you've ever been. It makes sense.
So I'd like to get my body fat level tested on a DEXA, just because if it...
Where can you do that?
I might do, because I've been thinking about going to London anyway, because I really want to go to the British Museum.
You have to go to London. That's lame.
I think you do. I think there's one in Birmingham, but...
You want to go to the British Museum, though? That's cute.
I already want to go to the British Museum, yeah. And again, I'm going to go alone, because I don't know anybody that will put up with that except me.
Yeah, I won't go with you.
Who wants to come with me?
I don't want to go with
you. And people, if anybody's thinking, I'd like to go with him, no, you underestimate...
No, they don't.
No, you'd underestimate the amount of time that I will stare at each artifact from Egypt. I will stare blankly.
Yeah.
Mulling over things.
Staring blankly is all you do,
Connor. A long time. Yeah. I spend a lot of time thinking.
I know you do. A thoughtful man.
Honestly. Like when I went to Leeds Armoury, it's called the Royal Armoury Museum, isn't it? It's full of just swords,
nice.
Just armour. I can stare at a sword for a while.
I'll go for swords and that. That's my armoury in York. See, same thing.
Well, if you want to go to Leeds Armoury, we can definitely go there.
All right, deal.
I want to go there soon again.
Can I take my axe?
No, I don't think you're allowed to take your own weapons, to be honest. I think it's more like a museum, you know. Have you ever been there?
No.
Well, you might like it.
I might like it.
It's kind of boring unless you like a lot of swords and guns.
Oh, I prefer touching things.
You can't touch things. They're real artifacts.
Yeah, see, that's the problem.
They've got thousands of swords.
Actually, therein likes the difference. I like the melee, like...
You like chopping
I
things.
just like, yeah.
This is not the same.
You want it to be historical and all boring.
Yes, I do.
No!
You want to chop things with an actual sword.
No,
I don't know what the legalities of that are in the UK.
Sorry?
I don't know what the legalities of that are in the UK. I don't know if you can chop things.
Yeah, sure.
No, I don't think that's how it works. I don't think you can just say, yeah, sure. That's just how it works.
I don't know. Like, you can go out and just buy an axe from any shop. So you can
buy a sword as well.
Go and chop things.
You can buy a sword, yeah. I don't know what the legalities of using it are. Exactly. You definitely can't carry it places.
No, that's true.
No, you definitely can't take it places.
No, you can't. And well, no, that well's blurred lines. Blurred lines are dangerous. You can't carry swords or axes, kids.
Stay in school.
Yes, exactly.
Another thing I wanted to talk to you about, just switching the topic, no segue required, was something you mentioned before we started the show. You asked me if I find split squats, Bulgarian split squats, more quad or glute, bum muscle training, or dominant would be a word that you would use. And for me, it's definitely quads, but I have noticed since I've been training my glutes a lot recently and making good progress, my bum is looking perky.
Oh.
Honestly.
Oh.
Honestly.
Slappable ass.
You'd be surprised. But since working glutes a lot, now when I'm doing split squats, I'm starting to notice more pain in the glutes while doing it and more activation. Even in normal squats as well, I can feel the glutes moving more and then contracting more now that they're bigger and stronger, and I've been focusing more on training them specifically.
Yeah.
And I've been doing every glute exercise in the world like an Instagram girl. I do glute kickbacks, glute to the side.
Like glutes have been a goal of yours for a while, years
probably 2 years.
I think you maybe always did the glute training a lot, but it was more I saw you doing it with your clients or something. I always knew you did.
I've always done some,
yeah,
but they're just not. My quads are just massive compared.
Well.
For me, for me, compared to some people who've got like massive legs, obviously no. But for me and my proportionality, my quads are massive. They don't need to get any bigger. I don't even want them to be
quads
bigger.
Are sexy then, man.
Literally.
Quads are the coolest thing.
Yeah, but I think mine are fine, honestly. I don't want them to be bigger. But bum muscles, I could go for some more perk, you know. But I'm just underestimating. I'm doing it 3 times a week at the minute, and it's working, but it's just slow. Like building all muscle just takes ages, doesn't it? But now I'm noticing, now that I'm trying to become less quad dominant, and I'm still training thighs, obviously, but less. Now that I'm working the bum muscles more, I'm noticing them work more in other exercises. Even walking, I can notice
getting more activation.
Even walking just in the streets, like if I start to go up a hill, I can feel my actual glutes moving more. I feel like it's changing my hip position very slightly.
Interesting.
Honestly.
Yeah, when I have some weird feedback, and when I walk up a hill, I thought I was literally doing it. And it's funny that you said it on the walking over here. You know that little cobbled street by that white coffee place just before walking up there, and every time I walk up there, there's a little bit of window that you see yourself walk back in, and I always see my leg like go backwards. And just because of the way my brain works and sees like things in mechanics, I always picture it as like a bull's leg just going and like the glute just contracting. And because I can feel it happening, like I just feel the whoosh and the swooping effect, and like there's just such a sort of proprioceptive feedback
interesting
in my
walking,
brain.
isn't it, when you can feel your own muscles moving?
It's crazy. It's like, it's weird. It's a hard
like
thing
a
to
machine.
describe to people that wouldn't be able to, because it's like having another sense. It's like being able to close your eyes and still see colours or something. It's like I can see the activation of my glutes almost.
You can feel it from inside you.
Yeah,
the actual
it's
muscle
cool.
working.
It's
It's
so
a real
cool.
thing.
Yeah.
It's a real thing.
And in your brain as well, not just in your body.
It does take a long time to learn that. Like, you can't really change.
And that's when you can go back to like training. Like now I'm doing this hypertrophy phase. I've decided to do that because I've developed this good proprioception through strength training. I'm going to take it back to light weights for a couple of weeks, maybe months now, and see if I can develop a better physique.
You will be able to.
So this is what I'm trying, yeah.
An easy way for the listeners at home to understand what we're talking about would be, can you, with your chest muscles, whether you're a female or a male, can you do a pec bounce? You know, when you see people do, yes, like that. Can you do a pec bounce? Because if you can't, that's what we're talking about. Can you get a muscle on your body and think about it contracting and then cause it to move and squeeze? And it took me years to learn that on my chest muscles. Because my chest muscles had to get big enough to the point where I could actually control
That is a thing, yeah.
It is a thing,
yeah.
It is a thing.
The more muscle you've got, the more feedback you've got to listen to, and that's a really big thing. Yeah.
Like for years doing pull-ups, I would just feel like I was just trying really hard to pull myself up. But now that I can do a lot, and I've been doing it for a long time, I can actually get the lat muscle, the actual muscle that runs down the back, to pull me up specifically.
Interesting,
and
nice.
just squeeze that muscle in at the bottom and use it as hardcore as possible. But it takes a while to develop that, as you say, proprioception.
I think that's exactly the right way to say it. How you said is, and it's what I teach the clients as well, is that there's a couple of different stages to learning like the technique. There's learning and just kind of copying the technique and doing the movement and learning
so it looks the same.
movement so it looks the same.
Yeah.
And then there's the kind of brain orientated technique.
In bodybuilding, they call it mind-muscle connection.
Exactly, the proprioception, which is, okay, this is the movement. Now you're thinking about using these muscles to do it. And then you find people get from listening to you and copying the exercise to understanding the exercise and putting their own spin on it, which is where you need to get people. That's why I always that's where you've got to try and lead clients to, is like, look, here, I've spat you out within the realms of safety. Within this, I want you to play around and figure out what's optimal for you, because what's different for me is, it's not going to be the same. So yeah, that's a nice idea.
Yep. Keeping in the same vein then, one of the other things, probably the last thing I wanted to talk to you about, was I just wanted to ask you what you thought the effectiveness of the exercise, the glute kickback, was, talking about bum muscles and about you striking through the heel then.
Like a cable loaded one, or like a body weight?
Cable,
good, okay.
Yeah, no. Only because I've been doing it, and I've been doing it 2 or 3 times a week and finding it very effective. I always do it after hip thrust, so I always start off the glute workout with a heavy compound, either single leg or double leg hip thrust. Then I've been going immediately onto glute kickback and doing like an isolation. I'm up to like 7 plates for like sets of 15.
That's cool.
So quite heavy. I have to like drag myself back and pin myself on the bar.
And that's
then I can go boom and power it back.
You just have to know where to apply it, because it has its weaknesses, and that's that it's not a strong exercise, but it's great for proprioception. It's great for squeezing the glute. Maybe better than a lot of other glute exercises. And so, you'd put it in at the end of the session where you're playing to its strengths of squeezing it, because you've been connecting with it all session.
It's a bit like a tricep
and it's got
extension
blood
or something,
in it.
but for
for
glutes, it's like a specific.
Well, it's more like a lat raise, because the
it's like
the
a lat
glute
raise.
is
You're
the
right,
delt
actually.
of the hip.
Yeah, and the tricep would be the quad, the thigh.
And the biceps, the hamstring.
That makes more sense. What you've just said, that makes sense. I was just thinking about an isolation type
you're
movement,
right,
but that makes perfect sense. The glute and the delt being essentially the same
thing. The delt's a lot more annoying and
more complicated and more actions. But I understand what you mean.
In principle, but you couldn't load heavy on it, so you wouldn't pretend to put it early in a session. But when you've essentially set aside an hour of time to learn what the glutes feel like by training them, it's a great time to put in a nice, easy squeeze exercise at the end, where you can compound on that education even more, squeeze it even more on an exercise that you can't lift much weight on, and then bam, that works.
I'm just trying to get as much volume as possible.
Yeah,
and there's not many.
And it's very low fatigue, that exercise as well.
It is easy, yeah.
I imagine you just do one leg to fatigue, jump straight into the other leg,
and then back,
go,
and then back
until I guess 3 sets until failure. Let the reps just drop off naturally. Yeah, and that's perfect, isn't it? Whereas you couldn't really do that approach with hip thrusts because it's just a bit too...
It's too tiring.
Too much death.
It's hard.
Too much death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I usually start the workout lately with 5 sets of hip thrusts, and that I probably do 3 warm-ups and then 5 workings, and it probably takes half an hour.
Yeah,
just for
that's
that.
intense.
The glute thing takes
and that's speedy. I might add
5
as
or
well.
10 minutes. Yeah,
I did 3 sets of working squats yesterday. It took me an hour, including all my warming up and shit.
Yeah, you go a lot heavier though, and I'm doing sets of 15.
I was doing 14s yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Maybe you're just lazy then, because that should only take like 3 to 4 minutes to recover between sets. If you take longer than that, you're kind of taking the piss.
I don't think I ever took any longer than 4 minutes.
You need to do cardio. Oh, that's fair then.
Yeah.
That's fair. Squats is harder than hip thrusts though, probably.
Maybe I'm just spending a minute warming up. Yeah.
Yeah, you do spend a long time warming up, but you do lift a lot of weight and you do need it. So.
Oh, look at that.
It's good as well. I'm a big fan of warming up. I wouldn't say over warm up, but I don't get any of my clients or anybody, I don't ever suggest anybody warms up as much as me.
Yeah.
I sometimes use it as extra working volume. I don't even mind. Like I'm squatting at the minute around 90 kg, but when I'm getting above 60, I still sometimes do sets of 5 to 10, sometimes 1 or 2 sets.
Yeah.
It's still extra working volume. It's not a waste of time. It's still more weight moving through the legs.
I
like it.
I think I often find, just in life in general, the more time you put into the previs of a lot of operations and projects and things, just the smoother the operation goes, the better the outcome.
You mean pre-vis? What's that?
Pre-vis.
Vis is in visualization.
Yeah, just the planning, the foresight into it, the slow kind of steady approach. And in training, that is like if you're looking to make micro improvements all the time and really think about the fact that you're never really going to be as good as you could be. There's always more to be learned about, if it's proprioception we're talking about, or if you could get more mobile or more flexible. Most of that stuff a lot of the times happens in the start of the session, doesn't it? Like in the mobilizing or in the rolling around on the mats, whatever it might be or whatever. That's kind of where you find a lot of that kind of striving to understand more and progress a lot of the time, I find. So I think you just kind of need to do it. And it's if you think about it like that, it doesn't feel like a chore. It feels like you're improving and stuff still.
I consider it just as much of an important part of the workout, to be honest. I get my clients to think the same. Like I do a lot of flexibility and mobility and normal movement work with my clients because I work with a lot of overweight people who are not looking to be as strong as possible or to like lift loads of weights. They just want to move and feel better. So we do a lot of working on moving and feeling better, which involves some body weight stuff.
That's good of you.
Yeah, some body weight stuff, some resistance training stuff, but also some stretching, even static stretching, just to like steadily just try and loosen things out, nice and well-rounded. And I try and get them, and I think they do see every part of it as just as important. The warm-ups are just as important as the resistance. That's just as important as the stretching. That's just as important as the mobility. Usually we do it in little circuits where I'll give them probably 1 bodyweight exercise like of a mobility style, probably 3 resistance and then 1 stretch, and we'll do circuits of that. Nice, stretch of like a developmental stretch for something that they have specifically tight in.
Yeah, you have to kind of assess and
so they've got a lot of ladies I train have got really tight like backs of the ankles or sometimes hamstrings, all the time glutes quite a lot, so I might give them whatever that stretch is called.
Do you just sort of have like a little screening process to see these immobility, or do you kind of let them naturally display themselves as people are moving around and see where they're restricted and then...
Well, because I do a lot of... I'm not a yoga teacher, but I do a lot of stretching with people. I know I can tell by watching someone do a few stretches where they're tight and where they're not tight by what positions they can get themselves into.
Yeah, see, that's something, a big difference between you and I.
In what way?
I don't think I've ever really put the time into statically stretching with people, at least.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I can remember you doing a lot of that.
Yeah, I do. I do yoga style stretching, but I do not class it as yoga because yoga's specific patterns and poses in specific orders, and that's not what I do. I make up not the poses but the patterns, and I just make them up and I work on the areas that I see that they need to work on. We don't go through the asanas of flipping sunshine good morning yoga just because it says we should. Yeah. We do the ones that I feel like we should, I feel like we should work on. So it is static stretching, but I don't necessarily class it as static stretching because it's never hold the hamstring for 30 seconds
okay, cool.
and then steady. It's more like I'll get someone to put the legs out and reach this way and then reach this way and then reach this way and then reach this way. And if we do want to do straight reaches, we will, but we'll do reps of 1.
Yeah, that's nice. That's like a PNF kind of style, and I prefer
but I'm
that
not
kind
pushing
of approach.
them. They're just doing it's not dynamic stretching either.
No, you can do like
halfway
an auto-regulated PNF, which is literally like you kind of dive in and out of where would be too uncomfortable to stay in a stretch.
And it doesn't work on every muscle, but it works really well on the muscles that are stronger. Like I would never really do that on the groin. That'd be a bit intense. But on glutes and lower back, it's really good. Like if someone's got a tight lower back, one of the best things I do with people is, I'm just watching out for this wire a second. I get them to make a diamond with their legs like that and then try and reach their head down. And I can only get to about there. But if I do 10 reps like this, look, I'll be able to easily, after a few more reps, I'll be able to get my legs behind my head.
What do you feel stretching for you there?
Sides of the leg and glute and lower back, that area.
That is a chunky looking quad from here, looking
Thank
nice.
you.
Yeah.
It's not bad, that.
That's that bull leg I was talking about right there. Power.
So yeah, it is static stretching, but it's because that's what
much more mobile as well.
A bit, because that's what yoga's like. Yoga's not very hold.
No, true.
It's more, you're always moving a bit. You're always going from one pose to another, this side to that side, or just rocking. Even if you just hold the hamstring, it's never like this. It's always left, right, left,
and it is better to move like that.
It is better because
we're
it
designed
loosens
to move.
it. Yeah, it loosens it better. It's faster flexibility. The stronger the muscle is, the more you can do it with. Like it's really good on I don't know what this stretch is called.
Pigeon.
Is it pigeon? It's pigeon when you set up.
Maybe.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm not sure. Go on.
Anyway, it's not important for the listeners at home, but because it's a glute, and the glute's like a thick, strong muscle, you can do reps of like, you can pull it a bit more, like, whereas on the groin and the hamstrings, you don't want to do that much. On hip flexors, I would never go hardcore, like moving in and...
Yeah, I wonder what it is. Maybe there's like...
they're too sensitive, in
more
my opinion.
sensitive,
it's
like...
not strong muscles.
Or if it's like a lymph node thing, because there are lymph nodes down there as well. I wonder,
But the lats, you could definitely do it on.
And there are definitely,
And there's armpit lymph nodes, so I don't think it's to do with that. It's just some areas
there are some areas like the traps... or just a more sensitive area for everyone.
It's quite easy to pull a trap.
Like you could stand on the middle of my back to try and massage it, and I'd be fine. But like a small female and their thumbs on my traps would fuck me up. Yeah, really. So yeah.
Do you think then we should get into some news articles of the week?
If we've got the time.
We've been on for an hour.
Okay,
we've been on 56 minutes.
Yeah,
we'll go through. We'll just try and not spend too long, because some of these are good. Some of these are quite good this week. We're back on top 4 news of the week. Because last week's news articles, I mean, Emma Stewart was on, and the podcast was great. People have loved it.
Excellent.
We've got double or triple views than we normally do. Literally.
Maybe we were looking prettier than usual.
I think so.
Yeah, that's probably
it.
It
Must have been. Yeah,
right.
It must have been. Our excellent advice was particularly pertinent that week.
Yeah.
But the news articles sucked last week.
They super did.
There was nothing going on at all.
Everyone decided
boring.
to not be fitness that week.
The first news article, the most popular news article for health and fitness of the week, was a lady from America went to Europe and drank normal milk. She drank cow's milk and then thought it was amazing.
It's quality content,
because in America,
man.
people have alternate milks all the time.
It's what I'm here for.
And that was news. I was like, holy shit, this is bad. But we powered on, we powered through, and people enjoyed the show.
And we appreciate that.
So today's first news article is from the Evening Standard, and this is a study that's come out. More than 4 in 10 overweight Britons, so 40% of overweight Britons are depressed due to their size. So people are unhappy.
That's sad.
40% of overweight Britons are depressed due to their size. That's the title of the article. Article reads, I've just got a little section. More than 4 in 10 overweight people in the UK are depressed because of their size, signalling a growing mental health crisis, a poll has suggested. In a survey of over 2,000 people with a BMI over 25 by the NHS partner Aviva, 45% said they have felt depressed because of their weight, and 25% said they stay at home as much as possible as a consequence of their size. People are unhappy and don't want to go outside.
Yeah.
I mean, some 20% of respondents also said they are worried about socialising because their weight puts them at increased risk of becoming seriously ill from coronavirus, it says. So 4 out of 10 people who are overweight in this study are depressed, they class themselves as, due to their weight. So people are overweight and they're not pleased about it. And people, they don't want to go outside and they're also worried about COVID. All of this upsets me, to be honest. I'm used to it.
Yes.
Because every single person that comes to me is unhappy with their body weight.
Yes.
They might not be depressed. Some people definitely are. Not everyone. But every single person who comes to me is unhappy with their body weight. That's why they're coming for help. So I see this and deal with this every day. So it's perfectly normal to me. But just when I read the statistics, I just thought it was worth reading out because I just thought I don't know. There's loads of stuff going around at the minute. Body positivity, health and happiness at any size. Apparently not, people. Apparently the people who...
I think it's an interesting thing. I think that kind of thing is that it can go both ways, and that you are at that size going to be maybe depressed for both chemical and psychological reasons,
Yep.
your body's in a state of arrears is the thing, and the facts are that it isn't healthy to be fat, and if being depressed is unhealthy, maybe that's feeding into it, who knows, but
you're right.
The majority of it is more likely always going to be psychological in it. And to that argument, how many overweight people are there out there that are just happy?
Some, for sure. And I don't care about those people, not in a bad way.
I don't care about
I didn't mean I don't care about those people. What I mean is I'm not worried about those people.
Yeah.
Because if you're overweight and you're happy, good. Because I can't come up with... I mean, we've spoke about meaning of life before and it's ridiculous.
This is it.
I can't really come up with any better reason than we should just try and be happy. Yeah. I hope that's the meaning of... Or at least a large part of
the one argument
lives.
that anyone has against you and your profession is, I'm happy not doing it.
No, and that's okay. That's not an argument against me, because I do not tell anybody what they should eat or how much they should weigh or that they should lose weight at all until they ask me for my advice and that I should tell them what to do. Every single person that I coach has approached me and said, hey, Connor, I feel like this. Will you help me? I have gone to 0 people ever, even when I was a personal trainer. I never went up to a single person and said, hey, do you want personal training? Ever. Never in my life have I asked anybody if they want personal training. I've never told anybody that they should join my program. I tell some people sometimes that if they want free information and help, they could go to my Facebook page and follow it for free. Then it's up to them. They'll find out that I have a program. They're not stupid. They'll be able to see that I've got a program and they can join if they want. People come to me. Everybody else, I don't bug them. I've got enough people asking me to bug them that I can't go around bugging or caring about everybody else. I'm just one man, literally.
Ooh, and the rant was real.
Sorry, I know.
No, that was good.
I feel passionate about
it. You feel
things.
better for having said it.
I made a live video.
Yeah.
And yesterday I was kicking off.
Were you Jim Carrey?
to my members, I was shouting and kicking off. I also did a solo podcast about exercise, about why people should exercise, and I planned it to be about 20 minutes. I shouted for 70 minutes. 70. The podcast's uploaded now. It's on Spotify and iTunes.
This is it, man. Hey, it's an endearing quality. We see it as passion.
I called it Exercise: The Rant of a Lifetime. Nice. I literally just made a few notes about why people should exercise and then just started shouting
at the internet in general.
I was stood up pacing this room, holding the microphone, just shouting about things for like 70 minutes. I just can't help it sometimes. So with this, all I wanted to say is that it just highlights to me that people are just unhappy due to these weight management problems that they're experiencing, and it can be sorted. We can do something about it. You help people with it every day. I help people with it every day. I see people in these situations every day. If you're people listening, if you're depressed because of your body weight, you are depressed because of the foods that you're eating.
Yes,
because that's what's causing the body weight to be what it is. And I know that you eat the foods that you eat because you think they're making you happy. I understand. That's why you eat so many takeaways and you drink so much alcohol and why you have all these little snacks and let's have some crisps while watching TV at night. I know. You think it makes you happy. It's making you fucking 40% of everyone depressed. If it's making you depressed, you need to take a step back. We all need to take a step back and look at these things in your life, and you think they're making you happy and that's why you're doing them. Are they really? In the micro, in the short term, maybe they are. It is pleasurable to drink and eat snacks. We love it too. We also drink and eat snacks. But in the long term, if it's making you feel like this, you just need to make some changes. It's just food. It's not worth being depressed for. It's just what you eat. If you eat better, you'll actually feel better.
Because as well, it's not that it's a switch as well. Like you're saying that it's... Because that's where it comes from, that you think you need to just stop eating like this.
People do feel like that, don't they? They think,
to stop
I need
weight.
To stop all this eating.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You just need to eat a couple of different things. You're already eating every single day. This is what people say to me. People say to me all the time, I haven't got time to focus on my food, or I've not been...
Don't focus on anything. Eat less of it. Do less.
This is what I try and explain to people.
Put less on the plate. Buy less. Cook less.
I understand people don't always have time to think about their food, and I understand, but regardless, whether you're busy, whether you're stressed, no matter what the kids are doing, whether you're at work or not, whether you got stuck at work, whatever's going on in your life, you still eat food every single day. Somehow you're managing to take time, 2 or 3, sometimes more times per day if you're snacking as well. You're eating food I'm too busy to look after my health. Are you? Because you're already looking after your health in some way. You're eating every day. We don't have to stop that. We don't have to create more time. Like you said, there's loads of, you were just naming easy tools and tactics that we could use. Little things that you can change that make a big impact.
Worst case scenario, you don't actually have the time to change anything, and or just working with the current time slots that you've got for food. You literally just start eating less, and then that's just
you can literally just get your normal meals, what you usually have, put them on the plate, then eat 2/3 of it, and then put 1/3 in the bin.
Yeah,
your calorie intake overall will go down by 1/3.
That is an
lose
option.
weight.
Yeah.
I use easy tactics and tools like this with my 6 Steps to Slim members all the time. One of the most common things I hear is, someone will text me or on the phone or in a consultation, hey, I'm at work and I've got no time. I've got literally half an hour break. I need to run out. I grab a meal deal and then I run back into work.
Yeah.
I'm like, fine. I'm not going to change that. I'm not saying you need to get a longer break. I'm not saying you even can't buy a meal deal. It's just when you buy the meal deal, what do you buy? Because some of the sandwiches are 200 calories and some of them are 550. Some of the side little things you can get, some are fruit and some are 250 calorie chocolate bars. Some of the drinks you can get, one's a Diet Coke, which is 1 calorie, and one's a normal Coke, which is 200 calories. What are we getting? Do you know what I mean?
And you don't have to do.
Yeah, there's easy swaps you can make. You don't have to not have a meal deal. You don't have to not have a takeaway. You can just get a smaller takeaway or a healthier one. A smaller or healthier meal deal.
There are crazy swaps you can take. Like,
these days, there's that much flexibility in food. It's mad.
It's crazy how much you can condense all the nutrition you need in a day as well, like calorie wise.
What do you mean? In what way?
Like, if you're just looking even from a basic point of view, from more just like protein and like a couple of vitamins, whatever this, that, and the other, how few calories you can put like 150 grams of, say, protein in or something. If that alone was all you were looking to get out of your nutrition.
How easy you can get your nutritional requirements.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's how low you can keep the calories to still get them all.
Some people do it with a multivitamin and 2 Huel shakes. You can.
Do you know what I mean?
You can make it easy. These days, there's basically
yeah.
like these meal replacement shakes, like Huel. Not that I'm saying Huel's the best or the worst, but it's kind of like space food. It's got like fiber, carbs, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals. They put like dried omega-3s and stuff in it. It's like, all right then. I'm not saying it's not as good as whole food. There's no way. It's never going to be. No, but yeah. It's decent, isn't it? You don't have to do much.
Well, it's better than the inevitable opposite, which is that just no one is going to source all of those things themselves.
Consuming processed sludge is most people's opposite. They just eat processed junk food.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we should leave that article to you. But I just wanted to say to people, if you're feeling depressed by your body weight, it's just eating different things. We can do this.
Yeah.
You can start moving. You'll feel better. You won't be in as much pain. You'll feel lighter. You'll sleep better. Then you'll wake up better. Then you'll move through the day better. Then you'll go to sleep again better at night. Everything will feel better.
This is something I've never really thought before, but what would see if you'd have an answer for this or not? I would say that if you got someone that was overweight and that was starting today on their new routine of trying to lose weight and get healthy and go to the gym, whatever it is kind of thing, I'd say you've probably got about 2 weeks to slug through of it feeling worse from most angles until you start getting kind of like that snowballing effect, as well as general happiness from seeing some results and like actual chemical hormonal differences in you. I'd say you've got like a 2-week sludge. So if you're out there and you're thinking like, I don't want to start, you can kind of start your timer and be like, if I do everything right today, from 2 weeks from now, the ball's rolling and I'm in the thick of it, kind of thing. What would you say?
I would say yes and no, because it depends who you are.
That's a good point.
Some people, when they come to me and they start dieting, there's no 2 weeks of feeling shit. They immediately feel better, especially if you've got diabetes or you're really overweight or you're in pain. Or some people, when they cut down the food and they start eating, immediately they feel better. They're not as bloated. Some people will lose half a stone to a stone in the first week of just bloat and water. And they just think, oh my God, I'm not bloated. I slept a bit better. My energy levels are better. Some people immediately feel better. Some people, especially if you're slimmer, the slimmer you are, the more aggressive the calorie deficit is going to feel in terms of diet fatigue on you, because you've got something called energy availability. This is how much energy you've literally got. Most of it's in body fat or food. Some's like internal muscle stores, but it's mostly fat and food. If you don't have much fat and you don't eat much food, you've not really got much. So your energy availability when you're slimmer, like if someone slimmer starts to diet, yes, you're right, they might feel a bit, they might take a couple of days to get used to. For me to get people around this, I try and blend people into diet. So I try and take it steady and look for, it's a delicate balance, because you don't want to go too steady at the start, because all studies show and people feel that the faster people get results at the beginning, the more buy-in and motivation they'll have to continue. So, if somebody diets for 2 weeks and they don't see a result, Chance of fucking it off and not continuing, high. You need people to get a good result right at the beginning, no matter what it is, essentially, to get good buy-in and good motivation for you and them and the team of both of you together to continue. So I need people to get a good result at the beginning. But I always tell people, if what we're doing makes you feel worse, we're probably doing the wrong thing. And it depends what your client's goals are. But like I said earlier, most of my clients want to feel better. That's their number one thing. It doesn't matter how fast they are or how strong they are really, or even really for a lot of people, how much they weigh. They just want to feel better in whatever ways that has to come about. And it's probably a bit of all of it. Yeah, it's probably a bit of all of it. And it's different for different people, but they want to feel better. So I always tell people, if we do anything and it makes you feel worse, probably it's the wrong thing. You know, if we start dropping calories and you're feeling worse, you're dieting to feel better. Probably we're dropping too many calories, or maybe something's going wrong. If your energy levels are feeling poor, if your cravings are getting out of control, if your hunger's getting out of control, if we're exercising, it's making you feel like shit, we're doing the wrong thing. Yeah. We're trying to exercise to feel good. You should be feeling motivated after the session, and maybe you're tired, but if you're getting pain, you know, if it seems like it's going wrong. So I understand what you mean. It can take a bit of any changes you make in your body or lifestyle, it takes a bit of time to get used to.
It's tricky as well to know the difference between what is kind of like that. Yeah, I think that would be tricky to know the difference. What's the difference between the feeling of energy's low, fatigue, whatever, because literally it is, and you need that's the state that you need to be in for a little bit.
Yeah.
Versus like the unnecessary kind of.
Yeah, versus it's going too far.
Because it is. I mean, yes. It does just feel a bit miserable sometimes.
Sometimes it does, yeah. And what I always try and explain to my clients is what usually happens is people will start my well, this always happens. People will start my program and then they'll overeat at some point. Everybody overeats at some point, don't they? I overeat, you overeat, everybody overeats. And I set them up for this at the beginning. I said, please don't think that we're just going to have this conversation. You're going to start this program and then just start eating perfectly. You're taking the piss out of both of us if you think that's going to happen. Literally, there's no chance. There's no chance. You've been eating poor your entire life and then you just have one phone call with me and now we're just Jesus, are we? Now we're nutritional Jesus. Let's be real. Yeah. So they're going to overeat at some point. And it's normal. I expect it. I tell them to expect it. I'm not going to be angry. They shouldn't be angry about it. But how long it takes them to overeat and then the amount that they overeat is the indication to me of how much diet fatigue they built up. You know, if somebody diets for a month and then they can't stop overeating for 2 weeks, that's fucking way too much. No, that's way too much. If you diet for a week or two and then you just have one meal and I get a text, hey Connor, I had a takeaway last night with my partner or kids. Tomorrow I'm getting back on it and I'm going to do a good step count today. I'm thinking, fine, this is perfectly normal.
Yeah, you did right.
This is good eating, and then they've had a little relax, maybe eating a bit, then back on it. If somebody's diet, and then the second it's out of control, it's out of control, I'm going to look at that time period of how much pressure we were putting on them through exercise and dieting, and I'm going to take it down.
Yeah.
If they do 2 weeks of dieting and then they can't stop overeating for a week,
it's not because
we need to take it down.
You're getting back towards times then that can start to be negative and affect, like starting to put back on weight, and before you know it, then you're yo-yo dieting.
That's exactly.
You don't want to go down.
And this is a more sensitive situation than Slimmy. While like I've been coaching Emma Stewart, who was here last time, a bit on nutrition, just for nothing serious, just a bit of chatting back and forth, and a bit of accountability and stuff, because she's dieting for her holiday. And I explained the exact same thing to her because she's already slim, but trying to get super slim. It's a very sensitive process where, if she tried to have a calorie deficit every day for a week, that's a terrible idea in my opinion. That's way too long. She should be thinking about doing more like 3 days or 4 days of calorie deficit and then taking 1 or 2 days off of a bit more food, a bit more carbs, get your energy levels back up, sleep a bit better, your training will boost back up a bit hopefully. Then do a couple more days. I'm not even thinking in terms of, with somebody so slim and active, I'm not even thinking in terms of how many weeks are we going. I'm thinking, I do this with me as well. Yeah, I can't do more than 3 days of a calorie deficit.
No, you do, because moving around that active with so little mobilized energy on you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that calorie deficit wrecks me. So some people come to my program, they're like, I can only diet for like 3 or 4 weeks and then I overeat everything. I'm like, firstly, you're way better than me, because I diet for 3 or 4 days and then I overeat everything. Like I'm making homemade pizzas straight after this. Because I literally need to get more calories in. I'm doing it on purpose. Because I know if I don't eat more at some point, I'm going to end up overeating. And I don't even overeat junk food. I overeat real food.
Yeah, it's an interesting
I just get unbelievably hungry.
Sort of drip feed the satiation and the lust to control the explosion of...
This is how it has to go. The more weight somebody's got to lose, the less aggressive the diet will feel to them, because they've got that energy availability. They've already got enough energy stores on their body. Will it still feel a bit tough? It will. Yes. But if someone comes to me with 10
You're still
stone...
going to have the legitimate just hunger, yes. But...
Some people come to me with 10 stone to lose. Sometimes they can get through the first 5 stone without a break.
Oh, shit.
Or at least a couple of months.
Right, that does happen.
At least a couple of months. They can do a good couple of months of healthy eating and dieting and training before they start to feel really fatigued. And then I have to start saying to them, look, you've been dieting for a long time. You need to chill for like a week or 2, maybe 3 weeks. Eat calorie maintenance, scale back your exercise, just take a break, chunk it. We've done it. You've just lost 4 or 5 stone, for the love of God. Just take a break for a minute, get your energy levels back up and chill, and then we'll continue on the rest of it. And the slimmer somebody is, the more of these breaks you've got to put in, like maintenance and diet breaks. It comes from bodybuilding, doesn't it? Like if you look at somebody who's doing like a show prep for a photo shoot or a bodybuilding show, they don't do like a 12-week prep in one go. It'll have carbohydrate refeeds and calorie refeeds and stuff like this. And the leaner they get and the closer to the show, the more refeeds you've got to put in so that their energy levels don't just tank and the cravings don't go wild and they can't control it. So it's the same. So as people get slimmer,
there's a whole lot of nutrition there I don't know about. That stuff. That goes above and beyond me a little bit.
No, it's basics. It's basics. Yeah, you understand all this stuff.
I mean, yes, but yeah, after a little bit, I switch off to that kind of nutrition stuff.
Sorry, maybe we've got no listeners at home anymore.
Oh no! It just gets. It's just not my thing, is it? That's why we have you.
Well, that's why we're here as a team.
That's why we're here as a team.
Your side's more exercise style of it, isn't it?
Exactly.
But like I said to you before the show, this is what happens when you don't bring any news articles. You end up talking about what I like to talk about because I'm the one that gets all the goddamn news.
Yeah, well.
So it always ends up with my bias.
It
so
happens,
I'm sorry.
bro. It happens
I'm sorry.
when I'm an idiot.
Well, you can
which is often.
You can bring your own news and then we can.
I could.
I've actually got some good exercise stuff.
I could, but I don't know.
I'm going to skip forward. To these next 2 because I think you'll like these. Okay. 2 brand new studies that have come out and I think you'll like them.
Hit me with the new news.
This first one's from the University of Cambridge, August 23rd. So it's recent.
2 days ago.
It's like a week ago.
Sorry, yeah.
It's like a week ago.
September now. Oh my god.
It's the 31st of August, sir.
Is it?
Yeah.
I wrote the first September
got all
in my
of
books today.
All of those dates wrong. What? Sorry.
I put the 1st September in all my books today.
Well, it's okay. You're gonna be okay. Title of the study: Mathematical model predicts best way to build muscle.
What?
Mathematical model predicts best way to build muscle. You're gonna like this, I told you.
I can't even.
I'm gonna like this.
Begin.
Can I read then? It's not very long. I've cut out most of it because it was long.
Go on.
I've basically got 3 paragraphs which explains it.
I am intrigued.
The researchers from the University of Cambridge used methods of said the complete wrong word. Theoretical biophysics to construct the model, which can tell us how much a specific amount of exertion will cause a muscle to grow and how long that will take. The model could form the basis of a software product where users could optimize their exercise regimes by entering a few details of their individual physiology. The model is based on earlier work by the same team which found that a component of muscle called titin is responsible for generating the chemical signals which affect muscle growth. The results reported in the Biophysical Journal suggested that there is an optimal weight at which to do resistance training for each person and each muscle growth target. Muscles can only be near their maximal load for a very short amount of time, and it is the load integrated over the time which activates the cell signaling pathways that leads to the synthesis of new muscle proteins. But below a certain value, the load is insufficient. I'm nearly done. But below a certain value, the load is insufficient to cause much signaling, and exercise time would have to increase exponentially to compensate. The value of this critical load is likely to depend on the particular physiology of the individual. Did that make sense so far or not?
I've never heard anyone say no discomfort, no expansion in a more complicated way. That's the funniest shit ever. No pain, no gain.
I'm glad you got it. I'm glad you got it.
It's perfect though.
And it's
spot on. I mean,
it also said don't lift too light. It said you got to lift heavy.
Yeah, for the sake of because
everybody want to be a bodybuilder. Nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight. That's what it said.
That's exactly what it said. I
can't wait to read you the conclusion.
Man,
go on
that's
though first.
So good. Do I need to say anything on this or conclusion first?
Just the conclusion's hilarious.
Oh god.
The conclusion's even better.
That was good.
Are you ready?
I want you to send me this after, by the way.
Because, please.
Yeah.
I'm going to read out again the complicated conclusion, and I want you to tell me in like the 3-word, 1-sentence answer what it's actually saying again. Because you just nailed it on the head that time. That had the most words ever to say you've got to actually train hard.
Yeah.
And lift some weights. The conclusion of the study is this. Our model offers a physiological basis for the idea that muscle growth mainly occurs at 70% of the maximal load, which is ideal for resistance training. Below that, the operating rate of titin kinase drops precipitously and precludes mechanosensitive signaling from taking place. Above that, the rapid exhaustion presents a good outcome, which our model has quantitatively predicted. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
70%
yeah, it's
of
saying,
1 rep max.
It's saying training at 70%.
It says do 10 reps, bro.
Yeah, it's just saying.
It says do 10 reps, bro.
I know.
70% 10 reps?
I think Albert Einstein telling us to do. Yeah, that's exactly what about it would be. It's just that rep range. It'd be like 8 to 12. Yeah.
Let me Google what 70% of 1 rep max.
What do you mean? It'd be whatever your 1 rep max is, isn't it?
As like a rep range. It says 13 reps is on average.
On an actual like charted thing. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it'll be somewhere there.
It says 10 to 13 reps.
It's not wrong. Like that's spot on. The biggest drivers in hypertrophy are what? Volume and sheer load. Yes. And so you would need a complete split between the two. I guess.
Well, sheer load is a part of volume, but I think you mean mechanical tension.
Mechanical tension, sorry. Yeah. I'm saying load.
There's mechanical tension.
External load, I'm meaning like stimulus.
Yeah.
Loads and stimulus. Yeah.
There's mechanical tension.
And volume are about the two main drivers in muscle growth. So yeah, that basically means try and lift as heavy as you can, but lift it for as many as you can. So figure out the middle ground between that, do 10 reps.
It says pretty much do 10 reps, bro.
That's what it said?
And you got to lift.
It said lift the heaviest thing as many times as you can. 10 times. I like that though. That was really cool.
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was about
if
50
you can
times
just
longer.
about keep up with it, it just makes perfect sense.
It's harder for you as well because I'm reading it to you, so you've got to try and listen to my voice. And
it did make perfect sense though.
That's good because it's easier for me because I'm reading
it,
so you know. But you've got to just listen to it. But I loved how you just got it straight away. The 3 factors for muscle growth are mechanical tension, muscle damage, and metabolic stress.
Yeah.
They're the 3. You've got to actually damage the muscle, you need mechanical tension, and then metabolic stress from like getting a pump and
volume.
Metabolites.
That's what I call volume.
Yeah, volume is sets times reps times weight times distance, isn't it? It's how volume's total work done.
Yeah.
3 factors of muscle growth are tension's required because you can't just do light weights for loads of reps, otherwise that'd be if volume was the only main driver, then doing just a bar for 10,000 reps would equal most volume. And that doesn't work, does it? No. You need the actual mechanical heavy stimulus of it. You need the muscle damage. And then the 3rd factor is, what did I say it was called?
Metabolic stress, that one?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Metabolic stress.
Yeah, which just comes from high volume, doesn't it?
It comes from your actual muscles burning fuel. It's the byproducts like the exhaust fumes that come out of the back of a car, which that's what, you know, when what's that type of training? Occlusion. Blood flow restriction training. Yeah, occlusion training. That's what that does. It pools the metabolites that are created through the burning of energy inside the muscle, such as lactic acid, isn't it?
Would be, yeah.
Which melts the muscle from the inside out and causes muscle damage, and then that's a factor of
And there is legitimate research behind that.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, it's real cool. It's hard to do that shit.
I don't like it, and it's not effective.
It's not practical.
It's not effective compared to increase of volume,
compared to just
mechanical stress, and the normal metabolic stress that occurs through training. You can increase it a little bit by putting flipping elastic bands around your muscles, but it also makes you weaker. So overall, it works as like an extra pump technique if you're a bodybuilder.
It would be like the last exercise,
especially if you're on steroids, because guess what else is in the blood, which then would pool into the muscle?
Yeah,
steroid hormones. So if you're on steroids, I would imagine that's not science. I've just made that up. But I bet any money it works better on people that are on steroids.
If you're on steroids, you've got a lot of time and energy to stand there doing occlusion curls in the mirror. Good fun.
Good study, though. Basically, they found lift 10 reps, bro. But do you remember what it was called at the beginning? Mathematical model predicts best way to build muscle. And they've come out with do 10 reps. Oh my God. It's like you're the ultimate bro. They couldn't have got there
through a more scenic route there. That was honestly perfect.
You're the ultimate bro. So next article then, yes?
The ultimate bro.
And then I'll just mention one thing at the end and then we'll conclude, do you think? We've been 1 hour 20, that's not bad. This one's nice as well. This is from August 24th. So again, this is a really recent study. This has come out of the European Society of Cardiology. And it's called It's Never Too Late to Get Active. A study in more than 30,000 heart patients shows that becoming active later in life can be nearly as beneficial for survival as continued activity throughout life. They found, I'll just summarise, that people's risk of cardiac and all forms of death was 50% lower if they exercised across life. So exercise gave you 50% better survival rates. People who started exercising later in life, above the age of 60, 45% chance reduction.
So it's all close.
Exercising when you're young doesn't seem to do much. It matters more that you exercise as you get older. That's when you need it.
Which I can believe that. Like, if I spent the next 20 years of my life getting stupidly obese and not moving, and then
this exercise you've done now will not help you later.
No, but then say if I got to 40 and was fat and thought, oh shit, by 45 I could be in as good as Nick as I am now, probably, maybe limited by mechanical injuries and stress of like my body being older, but nothing other than that would stop me. And from then I would just have had, that would then be my sort of
the new
homeostasis for the rest of life.
Yeah, you're
so
exactly
you can just
right.
Do it whenever you want, yeah.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
I mean,
it's
do it
nice,
earlier in life
and
live a better life for the sake of enjoyment and quality of life. I can jump pretty high, that's kind of cool, but you know, do whatever you want.
And again, I've chopped this down loads, but another thing they found was people who exercised and then stopped, their risk went up by 20%. It says.
Yeah, I can bet that, because you kind of come with the confidence.
Your fitness just drops off, doesn't it?
And sometimes, you keep the confidence of thinking you can still do things, and then going for it and not being able to can injure you, can't it?
Just thought that was really nice. So 50% lower chance of all risk mortality, all causes of death essentially, and cardiac things if you exercise across your life. But if you start later, when those things might start to become a problem, you can still reduce your risk by 45%. That's great.
So that article's basically just saying it's never too late to start.
It's called It's Never Too Late to Get Active.
Oh, look at that.
I just thought that was really nice.
I agree.
That's really nice.
And true.
Yeah, just good facts to remember, isn't it? Good motivation for people. And then last thing I'll remember, I'll not go into this, but this is an article from verywellfit.com, but it's about a study, but I've not got the link to the actual study. Article reads, part of anyway, shortened down by me. For the study, researchers looked at the intake of ultra-processed foods in more than 33,000 people from the ages of 2 to 19. So they were looking at how much junk food, basically, ultra-processed foods, and it does clarify what counts as an ultra-processed food. It's like crisps, chocolate, ready meals, snacks, just junk food, just what you'd think, just junk food. They looked at 33,000 kids. I'm pretty sure this is in America, from the age of 2 to 19, because it's from the Central Disease of Control Prevention, the CDC, so that's an American thing. They collected this information from 1999 to 2018.
Jesus.
So it's a big study. There's 33,000 people in America, which is very similar to our sort of society and people. We're very similar. So this is not about us in the UK, but it's very similar. We could sort of cross it over close enough. The percentage of calories in the children's diets coming from ultra-processed food has now risen to 67%. 2/3.
In 30 years, was that?
It's been a steady increase.
Crazy.
Basically. It showed you a graph, and there was a steady increase across like each year, basically. But it's just a point that I just thought, wow, when I just saw those stats, 2/3 of kids' calories are coming from ultra-processed junk food.
Yeah, that's bad, that, isn't it? I mean,
it's bad.
Can you remember, like, was it last episode we were talking about, like, should they change the prices of things, junk food, so it's more expensive to discourage people from eating it? And we were like, no, everyone should be free to eat whatever they want.
Yeah, that won't work really.
But this is
it's like, have we bought less carrier bags now? Like they cost 20p.
Yeah,
no.
This is almost like the opposite argument of that, isn't it? It's like, well, look, people are getting fat and eating junk food. It's kind of scary, isn't it?
All I wanted to say about this is it's not good.
It ain't good, kids.
And
cut it out.
Parents, not that I am a parent, and I don't really like talking about children, because every time I talk about children, all the parents just say, yeah, but you haven't got children, so you don't know what it's like. And no, you're right. I actually can't have children. I'm actually infertile. So it's not that I actually... So you can try and use that against me if you want. But it's not that
it's a good joke.
It's not that I don't want to be a father. It's that I actually don't have sperm. So please berate me some more for something.
And there are still facts at play as to...
And that's what I'm saying. It's still right.
I'm
still right. Not because I haven't got children. That doesn't mean I'm wrong. That's arguing ad hominem, which means arguing against the person, not the article. Yeah. If you want to get technical, as I often do. So parents, just for your information, just because kids run around all day and because they're little kids, some parents assume, I get this feeling that they think it's all right for kids to eat junk food. They're like, oh, I get in sweets and snacks for the kids. I just want you to really understand the baseline nutrition of it is if we as adults ate some chocolate or a dessert or a pudding or a takeaway and you think it's a lot of calories and bad for you, calories scales by human size.
Imagine a tiny little person.
Kids don't really have that much of a faster metabolism. They don't, as a baseline, have a faster metabolism than people. It's just because they than adults. I mean, it's just because they run around more.
They do more, and they're growing, but that's such a little. The
growing
slow
adds
process,
a little bit, but it's
come on.
It doesn't boost your metabolism like crazy. They are growing.
They're not growing.
You don't need double food
as a
or
big
anything.
man is using energy. To
You're
maintain
exactly
that.
right. They're just active, but they're small people.
They're small.
They don't require much food.
Yeah.
They've actually got great cardio systems. It's been shown in studies that kids buffer lactate out of muscles as well as professional athletes.
Oh, cool.
That's why kids can run forever and they never get tired.
Oh shit!
They've got intense lactate buffering. They've got amazing cardio. So they've got good fitness. They're light. They're not burning that many calories anyway when they're running around. If you're eating junk food and takeaway and you think it's making you overweight and ill and unhealthy, and you think it's a lot of calories and shit for you, now scale yourself down 4 times to the size of a child and then feed it to your kid. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
And I'm not meaning to call people out. I eat junk food. I ate junk food as a kid.
I was going to say myself.
I ate junk food as a kid.
I can think of maybe even weekly having junk food as a kid, like maybe a small takeaway.
Daily, bro.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was maybe allowed to take away a week or something. Like
Yeah. My mum made. I was quite lucky. Good home cooked food. She made a lot of like Yorkshire food, like stews and Sunday dinners and pies with like meat and vegetables in and stuff like that. But I still ate loads of chocolate and loads of pizzas and loads of just like kids' foods when I was a kid and sweets. And you go to the ice cream man and yay! And I mean, it's okay. It's okay as long as your kids looking healthy and looking happy. You've just also got to be careful because it's not just because they're kids that they can just consume all this processed sugar and fat and it just doesn't do anything to them. It also sets them up for life. Ladies and gentlemen listening, if you've struggled with obesity and weight management all your life and then you're feeding your children the foods that you struggle with, you're setting them up as a child to expect these foods as normal for the rest of their entire life. When they're your age, they're probably going to be the same. You're setting them up for the same struggles that you're going through, that you are listening to this podcast to get out of these struggles for some kind of healthy and exercise motivation, and then putting your kids into the same pattern and situation that you went through. Don't do it. Just don't do it. I mean, you've got to give kids some sweets. I get it. You've got to bribe them sometimes to do things, and life's for living, isn't it? But I just wanted to mention, and I'll stop now, that you just can't just feed shit to kids just because they're younger. They're not like just magical garbage disposal systems. It's just as shit for them, even if not more, as it is for you. So just go steady.
It's only right to give someone as blank canvas and as completely malleably yours as your kid. It's only right to elevate them to as high a position as you can to let them reach for the stars, you know? And then if they choose to fall flat on their ass and get fat and whatever and be unathletic,
there's only so much you can do, but there's stuff you can do.
You fucking tried. But if you leave your kid on the floor and you're like, nah, you're not going to be athletic, you're going to be fat, I'm feeding you up to be this, that and the other. I know it isn't as simple as that, and I know that's not how you would see it as a parent. But again, that is how
you're right. Though it's not setting up the kid in the best way.
It isn't good.
It's your responsibility.
You're cutting them. What would you not send them to school? No, it's
you get to brush the teeth.
But you're leaving their physicality behind. You're leaving their health in their childhood. What?
I think a lot of it is people don't understand how much nutrition actually affects people. I think they actually don't understand. They're not making the link of. They think, I'll just give the kid chocolate.
You know what?
And that's the end of it. They just think, it's chocolate. It's nice. The kid will like it.
I disagree. I think people understand and are ignorant as fuck because people know if they're fat, why they're fat, and they know how they would lose weight. Even if it's as simple as, I'd start eating less, but then their next thing is, but I could never do that. How would I do?
Some people
do that?
For sure.
It's just do it.
And with children, a lot of people say, but my kids like it, I have to get it in for the kids. No, kids don't know what's good for them. You need to stop. Kids, would you let
you give kids food, they eat it.
Imagine if you bought your kid every toy that they wanted, or if you let them, I don't know, you don't ask, you can't just trust what they want. It's a 6-year-old or a 4-year-old or an 8-year-old. Yeah. They don't know, they don't have cognitive reasoning and thoughts of the future.
You spend half your time running around getting them to not run into the road and then listen to them when they point at things for what they want to eat.
Yeah.
You can't just cherry pick.
Is the child running the house's nutrition?
Come on now.
What's going on? Are we all eating like children now? And then do we wonder why it's going wrong?
Exactly.
Anyway. I'm sorry for bringing that up.
Stop being dumb, people. I'm
sorry for bringing that up, and I know it's not my place, and I don't have children, and you don't have children, so you don't.
I also don't have children. I
get it. I can't have children. I'm sorry. I would love to be a parent.
I can't have
not
children.
As fertile
and don't yet. I don't think. Not as fertile. Not quite.
No. Got nothing going on downstairs, sir.
That's sad for you.
I'm exactly. What was that guy you showed the picture of when Emma was here? That cartoon that looks like me.
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man. I'm exactly like him. I'm just smooth leather crotches.
Yeah, you're a little
I'm like
Barbie
an
doll.
action man.
Yeah.
Because
They got it wrong
just a smooth.
Took the peen as well.
There's a continuous taint from my belly button round to the back.
Action figure style.
Just smooth, baby, like a dolphin.
It's not a bad look, you know. Yeah.
It is a bad look.
It's quite utilitarian. But there's a film with someone.
What does that mean? It's quite utilitarian.
It's not in the way, then, is it? You look at you. You're all designed for what? You're designed for war and for being efficient.
I'm designed for war. If I don't have what?
Yeah, like how
we need to end this podcast.
You've got no distraction. They do it with dogs, don't they? Now you're bred for focusing on fighting and war.
I'm googling utilitarian.
I wonder if that is a thing for you actually. Very utilitarian.
You've used the exact correct word.
I know I have, Connor.
It says, I didn't really, if you ask me what is the definition of utilitarian, I don't know. It says designed to be useful rather than practical or, no, it says designed to be useful or practical rather than attractive.
See, if you ask me the definition of utilitarian, I do know.
That's hilarious. Well, you do now. Designed to be useful or practical rather than attractive. That's hilarious. Imagine if you called someone utilitarian. You're useful but ugly.
Well, I feel like I've been called utilitarian before.
They might not know what he's calling them. You utilitarian.
It's a good insult. Yeah. Look at you. Put a spin on it. Dress it up in a little hat and coat and make it sound nice.
Can't have you without utilitarian. Can't have utilitarian without you.
Nice. Oh, that's good, bro. That's real good.
Is it the end of the podcast, sir?
I think it is, man. We've pissed enough people off.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Connor.
Lovely to speak to you.
Lovely to speak
Same
to
again
you.
next
Thank
week.
you for listening.
We should hopefully have Dan Kavanagh coming next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And all of his wisdom.
I don't know if Emma will come as well. She wanted to come this week, but she was ill today.
That'd be a powerful one.
If we had 4 on,
yeah.
Don't know how that'll go.
Let's
find out. We'll see you there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. We'll speak to you and we'll see you again soon.